to happen to ensure that there doesn't, there's not a vacuum, there's no more, brutal leadership that comes in on the back end, and you see the same sort of thing happen again? What would you like to see happen to ensure true freedom there in Iran?
Look, the principle of what we stand for, which I think unites and galvanizes all Iranians from all walks of life, are three core principles, which is Iran territorial integrity, which is individual freedoms and equality of all citizens under the law, and of course separation of religions from state. On that basis, we can galvanize all those who are against this regime towards a democratic future. And my plan is, in this transition role, both now until this regime collapse, but particularly after the collapse, to have an organized, stable transition to make sure that the void will be filled with a plan of action, whether it's the first 100 days after the regime collapses, and bringing as many elements into play that will be part of this transition and particularly can survive regime change. Unlike what happened in Iraq, we're calling for something totally different, which is why one of my messages, and especially since the recent military campaign, for all those who want to now peel away from the regime and join us, people in the military, in the security forces, the civilian bureaucracy, and of course the rest of our people across the land, to come together in a unified campaign, which is also another thing I'll be hosting very soon, to really agree on a roadmap to this transition and have maximum participation, so all voices will be here, and ultimately we'll have a constitutional process which will ultimately determine, by means of referendum, what the majority of the Iranian people will have as an option to choose. This is the roadmap to that direction, and I've stepped in to take the leadership of this transition, and I'm looking forward to work with all forces who are ready and able to work together in a coalition of the willing.
Well, before we let you go, I do want to ask you, we had that great military campaign, as you just alluded to, taking out these Iranian nuclear sites. We have heard, though, that you have, actors like Russia out there and maybe other adversaries to the United States saying, well, we would be able to supply Iran with a nuclear warhead. What do you think the American people should know? What do you want maybe the world to know about this regime's relationship